Dear students, today I will give you the summary of the lesson, that is the Tiger King. If we talk about the lesson, it is a story. The story is a satire on the rich and the powerful kings of the olden times. And in order to prove the prophecies of the fortune teller wrong, the king of Pratibandpuram mindlessly kills 99 tigers, but the 100th one, the cause of the king's death, escapes his bullet. Ultimately, the king is killed by an intimate tiger made of wood, and hence the prophecy turns to be true despite the king's efforts to prove it wrong. The word satire has been used over here. Satire is so prevalent in pop culture that most of us are already very familiar with it. Even if we don't always realize it, satire can be part of any work of culture, art, or entertainment. It is an often humorous way of poking fun at the powers that be. Sometimes it is created with the goal of drive social change. Satire is a literary device that holds human nature up to criticism and scorn, and it is often political in focus but does not have to be in literature. Writers use irony, humor, and exaggeration to create successful satire. So one has to remember that satire is a type of literature that seeks to point out human foolishness by using humor. It takes a very serious issue and pokes fun at it to ridicule society. So now I will be giving you the explanation of the lesson. The writer introduces the main character of the story, that is the king of Pratibandpuram, and the king is a hero due to his bravery. He is given a list of titles to emphasize on his greatness. To sum up all the titles in one, the king is called the Tiger King. The reason for him being called so shall be revealed in the lesson ahead. The writer tells us that he would let us know why the king was called the Tiger King, and he further promises the reader that he will not go back on his promise even if he is under the threat of an attack by a Stuka bomber aircraft. Instead, he says that the Stuka bomber aircraft can go back because he is not scared of it, and he will not tell the reader why the king was called the Tiger King. And he says that before elaborating about the Tiger King, one important thing about him was that any person who read about the Tiger King would be very excited to meet a man of such undefeatable courage. But he says that there is no chance of meeting the Tiger King as the Tiger King is already dead and he has reached heaven. And the manner in which the Tiger King died was very interesting, and the writer could tell us about it only at the end of the story. But he adds that a very interesting fact about the Tiger King's death was that when the Tiger King was born, astrologers had predicted at that time that one day the Tiger King would die. And this prediction is meaningless because, as a matter of fact, everyone has to die one day. The writer gives an elaborate description on what the astrologers predicted at the time of the birth of the Tiger King. And they said that the child would grow up to become a brave warrior, a hero, and a champion. After that, they stopped and bit their lips in order to show their reluctance to speak. And when the astrologers were forced to continue, they said that what they would reveal just now was a secret. And they said that the child, that is the Tiger King, was born under such a star that there was in the sky, and that any person who was born at that time had to meet his death one day. Again, this prediction is meaningless because, as a fact, everyone has to meet his death one day. And as the astrologers revealed this secret prediction, a miracle took place. That is, a 10-day-old Tiger King, whose name is Jilani Jangjang Bahadur, he's talking to the astrologers, which is absolutely surprising. The Tiger King called out the wise astrologers, and the main astrologer removed his spectacles and looked very much carefully towards the little baby. And in a very squeaky voice, the child says that whatever prediction you have made is not so relevant right now. He wants to know the reason for the death. The chief astrologer was absolutely amazed to see that a 10-day-old baby speaks and asks intelligent questions, which was absolutely unbelievable for him. And he took off his finger from his nose and took a careful look at the little prince, and then he added that as the Tiger King was born in the hour of the bull, which was an enemy of the tiger, and hence the Tiger King would have to die. The writer says that the reader may feel that the Tiger King trembled about hearing the name of a tiger, but which was not so. And on the other hand, as soon as the Crown Prince Jung Bahadur heard the name of the tiger, he made a deep growling sound and spoke terrifying words. He said that all the tigers should be aware of the king. The Crown Prince Jung Bahadur, he grew taller and stronger as the days passed by there, and were other miracles in his childhood. As a boy, he drank the milk of an English cow, was brought up by an English governess, got lessons in English by an Englishman, and watched English films just like the crown princes of other Indian states did. All the people who lived in the kingdom were aware of the astrologer's prediction. Many of the people discussed these predictions, and one day King Jangjang Bahadur he came to know about it. The Pratibandpuram state had many forests which had a number of tigers in them, and the Maharaja was aware of an old saying that you could kill even a cow in order to protect yourself. So he felt that the cow, which was considered to be a holy animal, could also be killed by a Hindu in order to save himself. And he was very excited when he killed the very first tiger, and he called for the state astrologer and showed him the dead tiger. The astrologer replied that the king could kill 99 tigers in exactly the same way, but the 100th tiger would be the reason for his death, and he has to be absolutely careful about it. The astrologer replied that he would tear off all his books of astrology and set them on fire, and he would continue to change with his profession, that is, working as an insurance agent, and he will not be and he would totally be giving up for astrology. From that day, the tigers in Pratibandpuram had a nice time, as the kingdom banned tiger hunting